So I had 5 proper heart attacks and eventually ended up with 2 triple heart bypasses. Did all my internal organs, all my veins were all damaged by snorting for so long. So eventually it caught up with me. Like Scotland Yard always got their man. Drugs got their man. They can see your veins are shot to pieces and whatever.
Yeah.
But you just, one line won't hurt. Like, just some people say, just one drink. Just one line won't hurt. The heart attacks did get worse. My 5th heart attack was like a bang. Like Mike Tyson punching you in the chest. It was a big one. During the operation, something went wrong and I ended up in a coma. So I was in a coma for 29 days and died twice. So I was very, very lucky and I caught septicemia. But I survived. And I think that was one of the reasons in the back of my mind. I thought, I've got to give up. A little voice saying, you can't throw all this back in your face. You owe it to them, you owe it to your kids. So that was like the penny dropped.
Welcome to School of Rock Bottom with Oliver Mason. I'm an actor, a voiceover artist and recovery coach who's been sober 10 years, and I know firsthand that rock bottom moments can be the greatest teacher and the springboard for a beautiful life. And as you know, I interview fellow creatives and all inspiring people that have hit rock bottom, survived and thrived. This is a podcast of hope and how to get out of the darkness into the light. And that's why I'm so excited today, because I've got the gorgeous Garry Johnson in the studio. How you doing, Garry?
Hi, Ollie. Fine, thank you. Fine.
Thanks so much for coming to see me today, all the way from sunny Southend.
Pleasure.
Absolutely brilliant. For those of you who don't know who Garry is, shame on you, you will do now. I'm just going to give a quick bio and then we're going to dive straight in. So, Garry Johnson, from Borstal to showbiz journalist, squats to showbiz, Garry Johnson is the original punk poet, street journalist and tabloid terrorist. A mod, a music mag hustler, a speed-fueled storyteller who once died twice and lived to tell the tale. Abused in care, homeless as a teenager, and high on coke through most of his career, Garry somehow became the man who discovered the Stone Roses, wrote the soundtrack to Working Class Rebellion, and raised 2 sons as a single dad, clean, sober, and unbreakable. This is the ballad of a young offender turned bard of the back streets. Wow, what an intro that is.
Sounds good.
If people aren't intrigued by that, then I don't know. Garry, I've kind of warned you how we're going to kick off.
Right.
I think you've got a couple of rock bottom moments you want to share. And then from there, we're going to really dive into your story, which is fascinating. So, just share a couple of rock bottoms and that will just kick us off.
Well, my latest rock bottom started on May the 1st of this year. Went into hospital for a routine cataract operation. It went wrong. I had a hemorrhage. So I'm blind in my right eye, which is why I'm wearing dark glasses.
Got you.
And I'm still going back and forward to the hospital. Hopefully it's 50-50 whether they can save the sight or not. That was a rock bottom.
Absolutely.
But back in the old days, I would have took something to lift the depression of being in shock of having that rock bottom. But again, it tested me and I wasn't interested, so I didn't go back to it then. My original rock bottom started when I was 14. I was at a teenage party like most kids. Someone was passing little blue pills around. I ummed and ahed when I was offered one. And then I thought, all right then. So I had one. And again, I've always believed that something happens for a reason. So I took this one. I just thought I was going to enjoy the party for the evening. And that was it. Probably have one again if I go to another party. But I didn't think I was going to make a habit of it. And it was going to last until I was 58. So then anyway, a few months after I took that first little blue pill, my dad left. And I was heartbroken. He just went. He was like my best mate, my football trainer, everything. And he just left. And I couldn't cope. And I didn't like the feeling of depression because I've always been an up person. I like to be up. So I thought back to that night at the party, what made me feel good? I thought, I'm going to try. So I tried another blue pill, then another blue pill. And then for months, it went on and on and on. I just kept taking more and more blue pills to keep me up. So I didn't like the feeling of being depressed. At first, I thought, my dad would come back. But he never did. So it got worse. And of course, my behaviour deteriorated. So I ended up in detention centre, then a Borstal. And when I come out of Borstal, I thought, I want to do something good with my life. I don't want to just be in trouble all my life. So I turned my anger to something else. And I thought, I'll be a celebrity, I'll be a pop star. Problem was, formed a band, played in a garage. Never formed, never got signed or anything, but it brought out that little creative streak in me, but it didn't help my voice. So I went from there to just sort of playing in pubs, keep trying, but didn't get anywhere because I didn't have any talent. And then I thought, I'll become a writer because you can blag that easier. So what I did was I got all these old music magazines and rewrote old interviews from magazines as mine. So that's what happened. Just like recreated other people's reviews. And that was it, basically. It just went from there. And it just grew and grew and grew. I went from music magazines, ended up on tabloids, ended up with my own TV columns in 2 national newspapers, ended up working for magazines. I think I gave stories to every tabloid newspaper in England, including being a pop tipster for Piers Morgan. But because you know what Piers Morgan is, I didn't give you any made-up ones. I gave him legitimate ones. Otherwise, he'd bury you if he found out you gave him a made-up one. That was it, basically. But before I got into the Fleet Street ones, I was working for Sounds Music Magazine. So I was going to see gigs all the time, meeting bands, and going on the road, being paid to stay in hotels, travelling first class, living first class, all for free. And it was lovely. But the whole time, I thought I can only do this if I'm taking something. I didn't think I had the confidence to blag it. So, of course, my drug increase got more and more and more. You don't realise at the time, you're young, it's just, everyone's doing it, but it gets to bite you.
It's really interesting, just going back a step, and we'll definitely pick up from where you just left off. You very quickly went from your dad leaving and you taking more and more of these blue pills. So, just so my audience understand, what is the blue pill? What is
Amphetamine.
that? Amphetamine.
Amphetamines, yes.
So was that speed?
Speed, yes.
Speed,
yes.
right, okay. How did you get into Borstal? I mean, are you happy to share that?
Yeah, I just got continuously in trouble.
Okay.
When my dad worked there, I was rebelling.
Yeah.
But I wasn't rebelling in any ways that would benefit me. It just kept getting me into trouble, kept getting arrested. Got detention centre first of all. Then I ended up in a children's home. But as I said, something always happens for a reason. I was in the children's home.
Yeah.
And I got abused. And that's what determined what sort of parent I was. I've never liked bullying, don't like corporal punishments. I've never ever hit my kids, never even shouted at them because of what happened to me in Boyles Court. And I can mention Boyles Court because Harlow Police have made a statement about it. And I'm also known to the NSPCC.
Right.
I'm all on their records as well.
I see. I'm sorry that happened.
By naming that, I'm not spoiling anybody's.
I'm sorry you went through that, Garry.
No, but I always take something out of something bad that happens to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It shaped how I became as a parent, as I become as an adult. So I've never liked bullying, never liked adults picking on kids or anything. And again, when I was in detention centre, you've seen the Scum film with Ray Winston.
Yeah, I have.
That is nothing like what it's like in real life.
Okay.
Then they used to beat you, grown men, a lot of them ex-squaddies, and they're like 30, 35-year-old men hitting, pushing, bullying 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids.
Right.
So that put my back up against, and I've written about it in my poems. So again, I got something out of a bad situation.
So Borstal back in the day, because Borstal's not there anymore.
No, nor detention centre, no.
Indeed. Yeah. So maybe for the younger audience, what was Borstal then? I mean, I know what it is because I'm 46. I'm just on the peripheral of it, but maybe the younger viewers and listeners won't know what Borstal was.
It was like prison for teenagers.
Right.
But it's like short, sharp shock. You have to wear like military uniform, march around all the time. For instance, I was put on one of the things you had to dig a hole in the morning, go and have your lunch, then in the afternoon fill the hole up and do the same the next day.
Wow.
It was just all physical stuff. You had to do circuit training. I mean, you came out fit. But it was just like bed at about 8 o'clock at night, up at 6. Cold water.
And could you get your hand on drugs in those days?
No, it wasn't like prison is now. No, nothing.
So that must have been quite difficult for you because if you're using a lot of speed up until that point and then suddenly you're in prison.
Yes.
How was that for you, not taking speed for that period of time that you were locked up?
I don't think it got into my system long enough then, like it did as I got older. Because I'd done Borstal and detention centre when I was 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
So I hadn't really become, I was still taking pills then. I didn't get into like snorting it until I was like 17, 18. When I got into the music business, really, that's when I started snorting and pills became a rarity.
And do you think your experience in Borstal with the abuse fueled more use when you came out? Do you think you were traumatized and you were using drugs to escape that?
I was traumatized, but I didn't know I was traumatized, if you know what I mean. People used to talk about things in them days and child abuse and depression and all that. It wasn't spoken about, was it? But I mean, I'm 68 now, so back then it was a different way of life. People didn't talk about it, but that's what made me angry. And that's why a lot of my poems and songs were angry. I think the last time I was locked up when I was 17.
Right.
I did get locked up again when I was an adult, but I jumped at that. It was years later.
Yeah.
But after 17, I just went on the straight and narrow and thought, use your anger in a better way, write poems, write songs.
Yeah.
And I was always on the side of the underdog. So all my poems and songs were always from the side of the underdog. It all helped, really. Then punk rock come along. So I didn't want to get into trouble and get into crime. I mean, a lot of my mates ended up still getting into trouble through into their adult life. But luckily, I had this speed give you false confidence.
Yeah.
Right, I thought, I knew I couldn't sing, but you convince yourself you can. Oh, I can be in a band, I can do this, I can do that. So I just blagged it.
Right.
And I did it. And all the time from like 17, 18 till I was about, I think when I was 25, I was still waiting for that little tap on the shoulder where someone would catch you out and say, you shouldn't be here. But I just kept blagging it. And the funny thing is, the more people you meet, they meet you and they think you're Garry Johnson, a journalist. They just take it for granted that you are because they're journalists. They don't question you. They don't say, oh, show us your GCEs, show us your O-level, show us what university did you go to? I mean, I nearly got caught once when I was about 20, going on a train to review a band up north. And there was about 6 different journalists there from different papers. It was all on the intercity train. And about half an hour into the journey, this girl got what's the game you play with words? Scrabble, yeah. She got the travel Scrabble out.
Okay.
And I had to fake a headache. So I thought, I'm not going to be able to con these people. You know what I mean? I'm going to get caught. So I had to make out a headache and couldn't join in. But I came really close to getting caught. And it was the only time I came close to getting caught. So I thought, I can't play Scrabble with these people. No, I'm not one of them.
So is that one of the main functions that speed and cocaine sort of was for you, in the sense that you felt like you could then belong, you could then be part of these circles that you were moving in?
Yes, 100%.
I mean, I don't want to sort of psychoanalyze you too much, but we had a lovely coffee before coming here, and you were talking about your dad and when you were a kid, and I think he took another kid to a West Ham game. And
no, that was his stepson.
That was his stepson.
Yeah, not me. He used to take me, stopped taking me overnight.
Right.
Just like that.
And what age were you when that happened?
14.
14. So that's interesting, isn't it? I think it felt to me when we were having a coffee that sort of planted a seed that maybe you're not quite good enough, or you're not quite worthy of something. And it sounds like speed and cocaine just sort of filled the gap.
Yes.
Gave you that confidence that you could hang around with all these, rock stars and be a journalist and all of that.
Yeah, I thought, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show him, because I didn't see him for years and years and years. When I started getting my name in the paper, he got in touch.
Right.
I didn't want to know him at first. I didn't want to know. But the funny one, I know it sounds daft now, but when my dad left, who do you think replaced him in my life as my sort of hero figure? David Bowie.
Right.
I saw Ziggy Stardust on Top of the Pops doing Starman. And it became a lifelong obsession.
Yeah.
And of course, he was into fast drugs, wasn't he, David Bowie?
Absolutely. And he's obviously a big hero of yours.
And then punk come out, and I liked the look of Johnny Rotten. He looked like a speed freak. So someone else you could identify with. He didn't have to look like Donny Osmond or the Bay City Rollers to be a pop star.
And I think you preferred speed to cocaine, right?
I did, yes.
Maybe a silly question, but why?
I think, because I always like things that I had for the first time. I get attached to things. I don't like change. As I still dress like a mod. I was dressed like a mod when I was young.
Yeah.
If I like something, I stick to it. Speed's always my favourite, because I knew I worked well on it.
Right. And
coke was just another version of speed. Obviously dearer, and you don't get so many come downs on it and whatever. But speed was always, if I had the choice to one or the other, I'd have had speed.
That's right.
Not that I'd say no to coke at the time, but
yeah, that would be your thing.
Speed was my
so,
thing, yes.
I mean, how many days would you be up for? I mean, I think speed is not as commonly used, generally speaking, in the UK as cocaine. I think people take cocaine probably more than speed. So there might be some people that maybe have only tried speed once or never tried it before. Describe to our listeners and viewers that, what that's like. Like, how long does it last, and how many days do you think you'd be up for?
Well, back in 76, 77, doing speed all the time, I'd stay up sometimes 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
3 or 4 days. And then you get that sort of wasted feel. And the other thing I noticed was, the more I took, the longer I went without sleep, the longer I went without food, the skinnier I got. So the more I looked like Johnny Rotten. So I thought, all right, I think that worked its way into my head as well. So I thought you had to look like that to be a punk.
Got you.
You know, because I didn't like the next wave of punk. I liked the original punk, the big four, the Pistols, the Jam, the Clash and the Buzzcocks. They were the four I liked. And there was loads of other bands, but I liked them. They were my four.
And you mentioned David Bowie. He was obviously a very slender man as well.
Of course, yes.
So for you, it was great. It was an upper. Also, it helped you, which you said you liked. You don't like to be down and depressed. It's sort of you're living in an upbeat life, or so it feels artificially. Sounds like you're feeling like you're more productive at work. You're getting stuff done, and also it's keeping you nice and slim for the ladies.
The girls, yes, yeah.
Right.
Like if you have sunken cheekbones, girls like you.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? I think definitely, and even when I was a teenager, that was still very much the thing. You know, I think the beefiness, guys, was a later thing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yes.
When did speed and cocaine sort of stop working? At what point did it start giving you problems? Am I right in thinking it started giving you physical problems before mental problems, or have I got that wrong?
It didn't give me any physical problems that I know of. It was doing all dodginess to my insides.
Got you.
But I think it was my mind, really, because I kept thinking I can't do anything unless I take it. If I want to continue writing, I've got to take it. If I want to get up on stage, I've got to take it. If I want to stand up in front of people and do a routine, I've got to take it. It just boosted your ego, your confidence. It made you think you was capable of doing things that you wasn't necessarily capable of doing. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I could sit in a pub now with a load of people, make them laugh with just my normal humour. But I couldn't go on stage and do it. When you've seen a proper professional comedian close up at work, like when I supported Phil Jupitus last year, the guy's a master. I thought I couldn't do that. There's a big gap between making people laugh in a pub to on stage.
Yeah.
And there's a big gap between writing poems, I thought, being straight and being on drugs. I thought I needed it.
Well, you mentioned the word gap. That's that you thought the drugs filled the gap, I guess.
Yeah, because I left school with no qualifications. I didn't think, if you were to go to my school now and ask the teachers, out of all the 1,000 people who were at that school, who would have ended up as a writer? I would have been in the bottom 10. I don't think any of the teachers would have said me, footballer maybe, but not a writer of any sorts. No one would have said, not one teacher would have said that. But it just gave me the confidence.
Yeah.
Because I think speed does play tricks with your mind. You think you can do things like, you know, you take a lot of speed, see a really, really, really good looking girl, I'll go and chat her up. Normally you think, oh, look, she's too good for me, I ain't going to chat. But speed gives you that confidence to go and chat her up. I mean, I've got a tab in the video cafe club next to the Palladium in the West End.
Right.
Went in there was a music box, MTV. It was their launch night. I went to the party and I was really high. Got chatting and chatting and chatting. I was like this all the time. Got on well with the governor who owned it. Ended up giving my tab. He said, bring anybody back here. You got a free bar, blah, blah, blah. And it's only through rabbiting, but there was a load of Miss World contests in there.
Okay.
And I went and chatted one up, a Miss World. I mean, she wouldn't spit on me. Because I was high, I thought, and I ended up chatting to her about half hour, got on really well. But I think it was only because I was gifted a gab and I had it. I don't think she liked me. But the speed give you the confidence to think, well, she might do. You know what I mean? It really boosted you in all areas of life, basically.
So, I mean, up until now, the story with speed and cocaine is pretty positive for you.
Yes.
When did it start to become negative? I'm assuming it did because you've not done any drugs for the last 10 years. So, at what point on your journey with drugs, did it start to become more negative?
Well, the funny thing is, I never ever took any other drugs. They were the only 2 drugs ever taken in my life. Never smoked. Very rarely had a drink. They were the only 2 that I liked.
Right.
And then when I was I went on it until I was about 30. And then I thought my body was aching and I thought my nose was hurting.
Okay.
And everyone thought I had a cold all the time. People always said that. They would say, that bloke's always got a cold. And the people thought I had a cold. That was then I just used to laugh about it. And people who didn't know me used to just genuinely think I did always have a cold.
Right. And
then when I got to 30, I think it's not doing me any good. Plus, I was getting married.
Okay.
So I tried to give up in the weeks or maybe even a month before the wedding itself. I thought, no, that's it. So I went without it. And then on the wedding day, the actual wedding at the reception, for the first time since I was 14, my mum and dad were in the same room. I could handle the actual wedding, but at the reception, loads of people there, it was close. And I'm looking around and I thought, my mind couldn't take it in. I was in the same room as my mum and dad at the same time.
Right, okay.
and I feel like depression coming on, anxious coming on. Luckily, one of my friends was there and he had some, you know what, they gave me some powder. I took some and it made me feel good. I could handle the stress of being in the same room as mum and dad for the first time.
Right.
And if you look at the wedding video, I look normal all during the day, all during the early evening. You know, when you talk to the camera at the end, we thank everybody for coming, blah, blah. My eyes are out on stalks because I'd really gone for it just to cope with that. So that was when I went back on it for the first time.
Got you.
Then I tried to wean off it myself again. And then I went on, tried to stop it again before my first son was born. Again, he was born. Everything was fine, but it would have been fine. But he was an emergency cesarean.
Okay.
So I didn't see him for the first week. He was on like one of them little incubators, all right up to see. So I was like a nervous wreck. So again, I reverted to just having a line to just sort of calm me down, stop the worrying, stop the depression. That's when I went back on it again. Soon came off it. And then my next son was born 2 years later. Luckily, he wasn't an emergency or anything, but I still went back on it because I was worried about, you know, when you put him to bed at night, because I actually slept on the floor next to the cot.
Yeah.
Because you kept listening from breathing.
Yeah.
So I was worried about the whole time. So I got anxious again. So I used to have a few odd lines in.
I think there's going to be some people listening to this and watching this and going, why does Garry keep saying cocaine and speed are calming me down? Because I think a lot of people that don't understand fast drugs, as you call them, how on earth would it calm you down? For someone who doesn't understand it, can you explain that? Because most people associate cocaine and speed as winding you up and making you more hyped up. But you're describing it as something that calms you down.
Well, for going to parties and going to gigs, it did lift me up.
Right.
But whenever I had a crisis, I took it and it seemed to stop me getting depressed. So I was self-medicating on it.
Got you.
And I think it's only self-medicated because I took it so young.
Right.
When I had my first ever real depression when I was 15, I just put 2 and 2 together in my head. It worked. That stopped me. So I just relied on it. So I wasn't really medicating on it, but I was self-medicating. Ideally, that's what I thought I was doing.
Yeah.
That's why it worked on me that way.
It's really interesting because I always look at addiction as a coping mechanism, and the brain uses it to survive. And obviously, like at 15, you were going through a highly stressful situation. You took the blue pill, as you say, and it worked.
Yes.
Right. So the brain learned in this moment, this blue pill helps me survive life. It can help me get through anything.
Yes, exactly.
And any time in your life where you had a big stress, you would go back to it.
Yes.
And it makes complete sense, particularly when you understand the neurological, side of addiction and what goes on in the brain. So at what point did it start to cause you problems? Because up until now, it's still sounding quite positive.
It also helped me because when I wanted to write, I only wanted to write.
Right.
Then when I started taking it, I found I could write.
Yeah.
So it helped me, self-medicated me, and it helped me educate. Well, I thought it was helping me educate myself by writing.
Yeah.
So I was using it in different ways to other people, probably.
Yeah.
When I had the first heart attack,
Right.
was in 1999, just before my daughter was born.
Right.
But I didn't equate the two with each other.
Okay.
Luckily, it was only a mild heart. It was only when I had the serious heart. I had 5 proper heart attacks and eventually ended up with 2 triple heart bypasses.
Wow.
And then when they said all my internal organs, all my veins were all damaged by snorting for so long, so eventually it caught up with me. Like Scotland Yard always got their man. Drugs got their man. They did get to me in the end. I couldn't fight it forever. I could fight it in my mind, thinking, this is all doing me good, but you can't argue with your body. If your body collapses,
right,
nothing you can do, is there?
So the first sort of consequence for you was very much physical. You weren't aware of any kind of mental health stuff going on.
No, because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And I've been writing the whole time. I've been living the same lifestyle the whole time. And the thing is, I never missed any work.
Wow.
Because at one time I was working for a national newspaper, a weekday magazine every day, a weekly magazine that come out every day. I had my picture in a byline. Then I was working for a Saturday magazine. Then I was working for a monthly magazine, all at the same time. And I needed all the speed to keep, I thought I needed all the speed to keep going. So I had so many things to juggle.
Wow.
So I was doing so
I find
much
it
work.
amazing that you didn't get any mental health consequences using that amount for that long.
I did get mental health.
Okay.
In the year 2000.
Right.
Just after my daughter was born.
Yeah.
You remember that little girl who got murdered, Sarah Payne?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately.
Eldest boy was 8 then, and he wanted to play out. And for me, I was a nervous wreck. Everyone was a bogeyman. Didn't want them going over the park. Everyone was dangerous. Any adult going in, so that made me so nervous. So I think that was a form of anxiety or mental. Went to my doctor, and he sent me to see not a psychiatrist. What's the one you see before? Counsellor.
Sure.
And my doctor put me on Prozac.
Got you.
Which I didn't like.
Right.
I didn't like, but I only took it for about 3 or 4 days, but I didn't like it. And then the same thing happened again when my other son was 8, 2 years
I love
later.
that. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
You know, I've been taking speed for years. I took a little bit of Prozac now. I don't like that.
Didn't like it. No,
That's
no,
brilliant. That's
no.
absolutely
But it
brilliant.
didn't give me any.
Sure.
And I was still nervous when they played. And the funny thing was, when he went out to play over the local park, I would follow on the other side of the road with the dog. The dog had more walks than ever in its life because I was following with the dog as a security blanket, like everywhere. And I'd be lurking in the bushes, like someone thought, who's that guy in the bushes? It was just that I could see him with his mates, but he couldn't see me keeping an eye on him. He wouldn't give me his independence, but I was there. I wouldn't go in the bushes on my own, but I was in the bushes with the dog.
Do you think there was a bit of psychosis going on? Was it? I mean, or would you say you were just a bit paranoid and for good reason?
I've still got that psychosis.
Right.
If I go over the park now or in a shop with my grandkids,
right,
and an adult talks to them or looks at them, I get all stressful.
Interesting.
Why is that adult talking to my grandson?
Okay,
why is that adult talking to my granddaughter? What's going on here? And I suspect that everyone's dodgy.
Got you.
So I mean, I don't know whether that's a psychosis, but I still feel it now.
Right.
But obviously I don't go back on drugs now. I cope with it better now.
Yeah.
But I still get nervous but I think that might date back to the abuse when I was a kid at the hands of an adult.
Of course.
Because I'm wary of adults with kids.
Right.
So even now, if I'm on the beach with my grandkids and there's an adult there, I'm wary of them. I don't take my eyes off them.
Yeah, of course.
And their mum says to me, you're really giving that person a dirty look. I think, yeah, because in the back of my mind, they're dangerous. They're dodgy. Do you know what I mean? So that could hark back to it.
Absolutely.
And another funny thing is, it has mucked up my brain or my mind, but not in a way that's terminal. But I went on holiday last year with the grandchildren, my son, and his girlfriend. I was with them for 10 days, had a great time. End of the holiday, I was still happy, it was great. And that was at the summer period. This Christmas just gone, I spent 4 days with them. 4 days of been waking up with them and everything. And then the day I went to go home after Boxing Day, I burst into tears because I was saying goodbye to them. When I was with them for 10 days in the summer, fine. I don't know whether because it was the Christmas period and because that makes you more emotional. Because I was saying goodbye to them after 4 days, I got all upset.
Got you.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
So whether that's a lasting effect it's had on my...
Well, I think maybe you're just a loving grandfather.
I don't know. No, but that's a bit extreme. I actually did go. I was going to see him again a week later.
Yeah.
But it just affected me.
Well, you've been through an awful lot and you've had a lot of recent health scares as well. Going back to the heart attack, so you said the first one was in 99, is that right?
Yes.
And then you had another, did you say another 5?
I had 5 altogether, so I had another 4.
So in 99, I don't expect you to do the maths off the top of your head. How old roughly do you think you were in 99?
43, and I had my last one in 2011, 2010.
Wow.
One,
And did they get more serious, each one?
Yes. Ended up being in hospital longer and longer and longer. And then when I went in for what happened was I collapsed when I had my 5th one. My son found me flat out on the floor. They rushed me to hospital.
Wow.
As I got to the hospital, they rushed me into the theatre.
Yeah.
And they put stents in.
Yeah.
That went quite well. I thought it went quite well. I came out, was in the ward. Then I had another relapse in the ward. They rushed me back in again. This time they had to put a vitreal valve in. And I was lucky that Professor Khan was on duty, Princess Diana's ex-boyfriend.
Look at that. Especially delivered for you.
Yes. So he saved my life basically by putting his vitreal valve in. But during the operation, something went wrong and I ended up in a coma. So I was in a coma for 29 days and died twice. And when they put the pads on you, my kids see me one time having the pads put on me and I was doing all that. So I was very, very lucky and I caught septicemia. But I survived. And I think that was one of the reasons in the back of my mind. I thought, I've got to give up.
Right.
Because if someone's done all that help you, spent all that money, spent all that time on you, and some people even in national health, and they must have spent a fortune on me. My son said there was machines all around me. In the back of your mind's little voice saying, you can't throw all this back in your face. You owe it to them, you owe it to your kids. So that was like the penny dropped, light bulb moment. And I gradually went less and less and less taking anything. Eventually I just stopped. And then to test myself, I was booked to go on the Rebellion Festival in Blackpool, which is like a 4-day punk rock festival.
Right.
And I thought, if I can do that and not be tempted, then I've proved myself that I have really given up. And I was there 4 days, did my performance on stage without any stimulants, hung around there for the next 3 days, hanging out with people who were, as we can say, partying, but I never indulged. Come home after 4 days of never indulging and never done anything since. That was in 2015.
Oh, that is a huge congratulations
Thank
to you.
you.
So 10 years completely clean and no booze either.
No.
Like literally clean and sober completely.
Not even coffee and decaf tea. Decaf tea.
I want to ask you about that because, you know, some people think, wow, that's quite extreme. But for you, it sounds like it could be a trigger, the caffeine buzz. Could that potentially get you thinking about speed again and coke again? Is that why you avoid coffee, or is it more about your heart?
Bit of both.
Bit of both.
Bit of both, physical and mental, yes.
Mm.
Yeah. I know it sounds daft. It's endorphins, isn't it? It comes from your brain.
Yeah.
When I go and see my grandkids now, I know it seems daft, but cuddling them, touching their hair and playing, I get the same sort of high, natural high.
Absolutely.
Natural high. So I don't need anything now. And my dad died. When my dad died in 2010, although I'd hardly seen him on and off all that time, I still went to pieces when he did. At the end of the day, he was my dad.
Yeah.
So that was another one of my relapses. And then when I lost touch with my daughter in 2005, and I've never seen her since, that brought on a relapse.
Of course.
That brought on a long that relapse lasted. But now I just realise it's like Meghan Markle. I'm never going to see her. Like she's never going to see her. So my brain knows now that I'm not going to see her. But at the time, that brought on a relapse.
Yeah, of course.
So I know you say a lot of people use coke and fast drugs to get high. I did use it as a self-medicate. Whenever there was a drama in my life, whenever there was something wrong in my life, I'd resort to it.
Yeah, makes
Not
sense.
purely for going out and having fun, or just to cope with day-to-day
Well,
life.
congratulations on the last 10 years. We're going to talk about what the last 10 years have been like. I'm just curious, these 5 heart attacks, sounds like they were spread over quite a number of years. But you were using speed in between those heart attacks, I would think.
Yes.
Which kind of proves that when it's addiction, if you get health consequences, that isn't necessarily enough to make you stop. Because I'm assuming you must have already worked out that these heart attacks were due to amphetamines, right?
And what they had said about my heart, because they put a little camera in your groin,
Right.
and it goes up, and they can see your veins are shot to pieces and whatever.
Yeah.
But you think, one line won't hurt. Like, some people say, just one drink. Just one line won't hurt. But the heart attacks did get worse. I mean, I ended up in Southend, Chelmsford, and then Basildon Hospital.
Wow.
I was treated in 3 different hospitals. It was Basildon Hospital that really shocked me.
Sorry to sort of be flippantly saying this, but in between heart attacks, like when you were taking speed or coke, were you not like just seriously worried that you could do more damage? I mean, you know, if it was me, I'm just thinking, wow, I'd be like super paranoid that maybe it could trigger another heart attack.
Right.
Or were you just like putting that to the back of your mind?
I was just thinking, putting my mind feel good.
Yeah.
I just can't stand depression. I don't like being around people who are down.
Got you.
I don't like being around myself if I got down. And, you know what I mean? So I sort of put one against the other. I didn't take enough care of my heart, and then then I paid the price.
Yeah.
Paid the price. I mean, the fifth heart attack was like a bang. Because I'm like Mike Tyson punching you in the chest. It was a big one.
And how long were you in a coma for?
29 days.
29 days.
29
wow.
days.
Yes. You know what's amazing about this story though, and it just shows you what addiction is like. You didn't go cold turkey even after that, did you? You started to cut down.
Yep.
You know, that is only people like us will understand that. You know, it's like, yeah, I've made a decision, but now I'm just going to cut down on speed. You know, it just shows how much it was part of your hard wiring of something that you always have done.
It was just part of my DNA sort of thing. I mean, when I did stop, I just stopped.
That's right.
I just stopped. I mean, I only seen one counsellor and one psychiatrist, 2000 and 2002. But they weren't drug related. They were stress, anxiety, because my kids wanted to play out and I was worried about bogeymen.
So you're a brilliant guest to have on because there's lots of different roads to what we call recovery out there. And I often don't sort of talk about much the kind of, well, not the willpower route, but, you know, the stats are kind of not great. About under 10% of people that kind of just stop cold turkey and just kind of don't have any support, it's less than 10%. And if it's an extreme type of addiction, it's actually less than 5%. So you know, power to you. You want to, you know, you've beaten the odds here in lots of ways. However, one thing that is very interesting about your recovery is I don't think you've just like gone cold turkey, because you've put all of that energy that you used to put into speed and cocaine into your career in the last 10 years.
Funny thing is, I've done more and achieved more since I stopped doing anything.
That's right.
Since I've had 7 books published, recorded 2 albums, all on Amazon. I've written a screenplay for a film.
Yeah.
The film's been bought by a lady in New York, in America, California, and there's a trailer on YouTube. So I wrote a novel called Serial Killer.
Yep.
She's made it into a film.
Amazing.
And my second one, I've done a synopsis for another film, which an actress is working on now, who's the star of Serial Killer, Sarah Lynn Dawson. She's doing what do you call it, you acting people?
Like a pilot?
A work on it. She's doing
a treatment?
Treatment, that's it.
Yeah.
She's doing a treatment on the synopsis I've given her.
Nice.
And so I've been so much more successful since I've been clean. And I've also made a stage comeback. Appeared at the Roundhouse where David Bowie appeared at the Roundhouse. Completely drug-free, alcohol-free, coffee-free. Just went. And I supported Phil Jupiter, the legendary Phil Jupiter from Nevermind the Buzzcocks. Supported him. And enjoyed it so much I did another gig in Shoreditch a week later.
Brilliant.
And I've been on stage before when I was a performance poet. Always had to go on speeding or whatever. So I've done everything I've done that I used to blag my way at doing under the influence. I've done since 2015 without any medication whatsoever.
Absolutely amazing. I've got a really important question to ask you, but before we do, I just want to give a shout out to today's sponsor of this episode, the brilliant Gavin sisters. Head to the show notes now for 10% off their funky coffee and wellness retreats. Garry, just want to ask you something. I want you to imagine that there's a creative person listening or watching this podcast, and they're saying, I can't give up drugs because they help me be creative, right? What would you say to them?
Come and talk to me. I'd like to talk to them, because they're probably creative people who have got talent to start with. I had no talent to start with, and I create. They could be really genuinely talented people who think they need drugs to be creative. They're probably creative without it.
Do you think it's one of the lies that addiction tells you, that you need this drug in order to be, number one, good enough, and number two, to create, make music and write? Do you see that as bullshit now? Or
no, what's that old saying that people who drink think they're attractive and they go and trap up beautiful women because they're drunk? Fast drugs used to convince me that I was creative. You know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing if you think about it.
It is.
That's the way I used it. I think creative people who think they should have to rely on drugs should try without it. And I'd talk to anyone and help them if I could.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding, really, but in the sense that you've been more creative in the last decade than you were in the years before.
And better quality.
And better quality as well.
Because I've got a quality control now. I don't just go, what is it? I go for quality rather than quantity. Like if I write a review now, it's good. When I wrote a review in the past, it's just, I've got to do 500 words, I get paid so much and so much and so much for so much. You get paid by the word. So as long as I hit the word, it didn't matter what the quality was like, just do it.
Just do it.
But now I like it because it's got my name next to it. I like it to be good now.
You know, it's amazing, really, because we met for a coffee before, and you're probably the first guest that gave me so many gifts. So thank you for that. I got loads of all these creative works and books, and I'll put show notes in and links to all these places you can buy them. But what was really quite endearing was the fact that you were telling me all these amazing stories and then backing them up with proof, you know.
I showed you all the press cut. I've shown you all my hospital records. Shown you all my press cuttings and everything. Otherwise, I could sit here and say anything.
So Garry was telling me about the Stone Roses, and we were getting into the conversation, and he goes, here we go, it's in their book. Just quickly, tell us about the Stone Roses.
Anyone who doubts me, buy the John Robb best-selling book about the Stone Roses. He wrote it. He's interviewed the Stone Roses. They're talking about me, how I discovered them, how they used to stay at my place, how we all used to do speed together, how we used to sing songs together in my lounge. Me singing with Ian Brown, can you believe it?
Brilliant.
100% true, but it's all there. It's all there. I mean, I couldn't have done things like that back in the day. Speed did help me to have that confidence to meet them in that. I mean, there was some good things back in the day. Look at, I mean, I met David Bowie, then I shook hands with David Bowie, my absolute hero.
Wow.
I mean, meeting him, I was high just meeting him. They kept putting in Sounds Music magazine. 3 days, still not washed his hand. 3 weeks, still not washed his hand. It was a running joke in the gossip column.
So what do you mean you discovered Stone Roses. What do you mean by that?
They sent a tape to the office.
Okay.
You used to get loads of tapes sent in. You'd lose, you'd play them for about a minute and think, because you ain't got time to listen to them all. I put it off, it's brilliant. I listened to the whole demo tape. It was so good. There was a phone number on it, like mobile phones or internet back in them days. This was 84, I think, 1984. So I phoned them that night. There was a phone number on the cassette deck. Phoned them up, got on really well. I arranged to go up there the next day. Spent 3 days up in Manchester with them and got on with them like a house on fire. Said, come to London. They come to London the next week. And that was it. Took them to every record company in London. Took them all over the place. And the funny thing is, like the Beatles got turned down, every record company turned the Stone Roses down.
Wow.
Can you believe that? It took another 18 months before they got signed, and we were the biggest band in the world before Oasis come along.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolute legends. Did they live with you for a bit?
Stayed with me. Didn't live, stayed with me, yes.
Got you.
I didn't charge them rent, no.
Nah.
They stayed with me, yes.
I don't know if you're allowed to tell any stories. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that you did speed with them. It's, obviously some of it might be private, but sounds like you had a bit of a mash-up with them.
So I can't say a lot now, as they're all married with kids, aren't they? But,
absolutely.
But we had a good time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We had a good time. I had loads of fun with loads of bands on the road.
Yeah.
As you can imagine. Spinal Tap sort of thing. It was great.
I bet it was.
But can I tell you a funny story about Ozzy Osbourne?
Go on.
I was up in Leicester. Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne was there before she became the famous Sharon Osbourne, before all her surgeries. She's like a normal person then. Ozzy had done so many, this is all true because I did the Ozzy Osbourne book. So it's all true. It's all, and Ozzy's even mentioned it in his book. So we were sitting in the hotel bar, Holiday Inn.
Okay.
And Ozzy had so much stuff, he couldn't go on that night. He had to cancel the gig. His father-in-law, Don Arden, Sharon's dad, was like the famous gangster.
Okay.
Maybe you've heard of Don Arden. He comes storming up the motorway, came into the hotel bar, screaming and shouting because Ozzy had pulled the gig. And she's gone, this is her speaking. He went, Daddy, Ozzy's asked me to marry him. And he changed like that. Oh, well, giving Ozzy a big cuddle, he was going to be his son-in-law and all that. Just diffused the situation like that. And I was wearing a big pair of brothel creepers. Ozzy tried my shoes on. I was walking around the hotel bar with my shoes on. And the evening ended with Ozzy flat on the floor, being injected in the backside, being held down by 2 security guys where he was completely...
Wow.
That was a truth. That's a funny story.
That's a brilliant phrase. What is a brothel creeper? I don't think I've heard of that.
The old teddy bears teddy boys, not teddy bears.
Okay.
Teddy boys used to have. When Ozzy was walking around with mine on, I thought, please give them back.
Now, you can probably tell, ladies and gentlemen, that, Gary's full of lots of very entertaining stories. I mean, there was one we were chatting about over a coffee involving Robbie Williams. I don't know if you can say that one.
That was the only time I ever got caught out by making a story up. And Private Eye magazine caught me out. Because I was doing a TV column there with me picturing it in the Sunday People every week. Garry Johnson's Soap and Glory, it was called.
Okay.
And I gave the showbiz desk...
That's a famous brand now, isn't it? Soap and Glory. Bloody hell.
And I gave him a false story that Robbie Williams was starring in a movie version of the East End gangster novel Till Death Us Do Part.
Right.
The only thing was, it was written by someone called Garry Jackson. I wrote it under an alias, gave it a great review. Robbie Williams was learning Cockney off of Ray Winston because he had to be a Cockney to play the part of Harry Harris. It was a big page lead, great big story, picture, everything, quotes about Robbie Williams. And then about a week later, after the story came out, someone said to me, look at Private Eye. Private Eye exposed me. Garry Jackson don't exist. Garry Johnson's made the story up. There is no film. And I thought, oh, God, that's me. That's it. That's the end of it now. That was 2007.
Wow.
And everybody reads Private Eye.
Yeah.
But I got away with it.
You got away with
No one ever mentioned it. So I just carried on writing.
It's an incredibly rich life. And, if anyone who's listening or watching this wants, go and get your book because it's all in there. Sorry, what's the name of your book again?
Mod Pop.
Yeah, Mod
Ballad
Pop.
of a Young Offender, Mod Pop. But the funny thing is, I made up a story that Madonna was going to star in a West End musical as Maggie Thatcher. And that Don Johnson was playing the part of her husband. Front page, that was.
Wow.
Not true.
No, I never saw it.
And Prince was to play Muhammad Ali in a movie. Wow. Again, not true, but got on the paper. And the first one I ever did...
Speed definitely did make you creative.
It did.
I can definitely vouch for that.
It gave you confidence as well. So I was in Stringfellas one night, chatting to Peter Stringfellow, and the new guy who was taking over the Bizarre Pop column come in. I got introduced to him, because he heard my Cockney accent. He went, oh, I bet you know loads of villains, don't you? Do you know the Cray twins? And I thought, so I always had a thing about my accent. I thought he was talking down to my accent. I went home and I thought, I'll show you. Next day I rang him up and I said, I've got a great story for you. Kemp brothers from Spandau Ballet are going to pay Reg and Ron in a movie. And he believed it. World exclusive, but it weren't true. That was about 3 or 4 years before the film actually happened.
Wow.
Because I've always had, because when I started out, the only Cockney on the telly was Janet Street Porter.
Yeah.
So I always had a thing about my accent. If anyone thought was talking down to me, it put my antenna up. Yes, it has. Yes.
I always say to people, you know, who are in addiction, trying to get into recovery, that the best day to ever give up is now.
Yes.
You know, some people regret and they say, I should have done it X, Y, Z. You know, I almost say, don't worry about that. That's in the past. Now is always the best time. You know, and I'm not necessarily anti-drugs and alcohol. I just am for me personally because, it, you know, doesn't work out. When you look back at your life and you look at taking speed that young and everything that's happened, do you regret any of it? Or, I mean, if you could go back in time, would you change it?
Well, I often think if my dad had never left, would I have ever taken my first blue tablet? I probably wouldn't have done and would have carried on playing football. Would have been like a sports fanatic and not wanted anything to do with drugs. But looking back on it, taking speed at first got me to cope with my dad leaving, got me to confidence to blag my way into music and performing and whatever, and live the life I lived. So I'd say for the first 15 years, although it was doing damage to my insides, it was sort of worth it, you could say.
Got you.
But giving up, I mean, if I'd have given up then, I wouldn't have had the life I had, would I? If I'd have given up at 20.
Right.
I wouldn't have met the people I met. I wouldn't have had my kids I met because I wouldn't have met their mum when I met her. Now that film Sliding Doors.
Yeah.
Always believe if you'd have gone that way instead of that way.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have took the first drug, I wouldn't have gone on to have the life I lived. But saying that, giving up was the best thing I ever did. And I'd advise everybody to do it because you're in control of yourself. You're an adult. That's what I think.
We're very similar in that. Even though I got into some horrendous situations with drinking, I wouldn't change it either because, you know, I just don't regret my life in any way, even the bad bits, because School of Rock Bottom's all about learning from them. And, you know, and like you say, your life is your life and all the rest of it. And thank goodness it hasn't killed us yet. And we're here to tell the tale.
You wouldn't have been in that pub the night you met your wife. You could have been in a coffee bar down the road. You happened to be in that pub drinking.
That's true.
So that helps you.
Although I met my wife in recovery. So
in that case. I didn't know that. Sorry.
No, but
you know what I mean?
I know exactly.
One thing leads to another.
All of that said, it's very, very clear to me how much you love your grandchildren.
Oh.
What would you say to one of your grandchildren at the age of 15 if they're about to take one of those little blue pills?
Don't.
Why?
Because you can't all work out as lucky as what I've done. More people end up as victims. Yeah.
And if they say, Granddad, I'm thinking about taking speed or cocaine, what do you think?
No, don't do it. Because that's why I wrote Mod Pop, so they can read about the real me. Right. And as I do say in Mod Pop in the last 2-3 chapters, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I'd say to anybody, don't do it.
The best person to always believe who say don't do it are the people that have tried it.
Yes.
You know, if you'd have just come out of the monastery and you'd never tried it and you said don't do it,
exactly.
no one would take you seriously.
Exactly.
Right.
But, you know, you see, don't do something and you like it. When I was 19, done oral sex for the first time, I'll become addicted to that for the next 30 years.
Right.
Anything I like Mars bars, it's the only chocolate I eat because Mars bars is what I like. Marmite, I don't have anything else on toast other than Marmite. Don't have jam. I started with Marmite and I like Marmite, so I keep to it. Yeah. So I would say to anybody, don't do it. Don't do a drug. So if you get to like it, it's harder for you to give up.
Absolutely true.
I mean, I had one cigarette when I was about 12, 3 lugs on the cigarette, and I was as sick as a dog, went green. Right. Never done it again because I hated it, burnt all my throat.
Thank goodness, eh?
Exactly. So
because you know what, with your speed and coke history, if you'd have been smoking alongside that you probably wouldn't be sat here.
I've got an addictive personality to various things, like skinny people, not just girls. Kate Moss, my perfect woman, skinny. My perfect men, Ziggy Stardust and Johnny Rotten. Right. I just like people.
Well, you probably like me then, Gary. You know what I mean? I'm just aware of time, and unfortunately, we are out. Gary, thank you so much for today.
I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. And
I hope I didn't talk too much or too fast.
Well, it's perfect for podcasts, and we've had a good chat before. Huge thanks again, Gary.
Thank you very much for having me.
Guys, please head to the show notes now. You're going to find everything about Gary there, his bio, links to all his books and all his brilliant stuff. Please head there now. Guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe. Leave us a comment as well. If you're looking for the Thoughts series, that's now exclusively on Spotify and Apple. If you're on Spotify, give us 5 stars, hit follow, give us a review also on Apple. And as I always say, and I've not let you down yet, I'll be back in 2 weeks' time with a brand new episode. Until then, look after yourself and thanks for watching or listening.